Did the week go by too fast? Not a minute to watch the evening news? Not to worry. Eye on Your Week will do it for you.
This is Isabella up north.
Oil firms again implemented another round of pump price hikes.
Report failed to
Hundreds
shed
of
light
informal
on what
settlers
is
race to defend their home from
Pope
demolition.
Benedict XVI offered prayers, reminding that with hope, nothing is impossible.
First trip outside.
I'm NAIA-3. Here are this week's top stories.
With Eye on Your Week, you won't miss a thing. Every Saturday, 5 p.m. Only here on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel. It's the security it gives. The opportunity it creates. The efficiency it renders. The power it provides. Beyond the gadgets, let's look at the technology that helps create a future product. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Only here on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
This is your captain, Joy Roa speaking. Welcome aboard the 5th season of Asian Air Safari. Our continuing mission to explore the world from above. Spreading the spirit of friendship and discovery. Through the magic of aviation.
Lining up stories to keep you informed.
Paris, France, for the country.
Covering events to make sense of them.
Paris, France, wherein they make nothing.
Greeting you with colorful conversation. Getting ready to face the day ahead. Have a head start with me, Karen Davila. Weekdays, 8 in the morning. Only here on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
Time is money. Business empires rise and fall in minutes. Opportunities appear in seconds. Don't miss the moment, especially those that matter to your business. Get up-to-date analysis of the financial market and gather information to keep your business moving like clockwork. Business Nightly, weekdays 9 p.m. on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel. There are many ways of looking at the issues. But without your voice, it's hard to picture the whole truth. So speak up. You deserve to be heard. Talk Back with Tina Palma, Mondays at 7 p.m. on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
I'm Twink Makaraig. I'm a news anchor for ANC. It's a show that will allow me to air my opinions for once, allow me to relax a bit, and show a bit of a more personal side than you would otherwise see when I'm behind an anchor's desk.
Asia's captains of industry, taipans and tycoons that set the region's business and financial course. Watch them share their management styles and philosophies with Christine Tan.
If you had the opportunity, what assets would you like to add to?
On CNBC's Managing Asia, Saturdays 8:30 a.m. on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
No balls are too big or too small for us, as long as they score big time. I'm Bill. I'm Boya. I'm Boom. On Sports Stories, commentary and analysis. Count on us to play Hardball.
Hardball, Wednesdays 9:30 p.m. on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
As the news and events take off, don't be left behind. Stay on top of the day's newscast in
Good evening, I'm Tina Monzon Palma, and this is The World Tonight.
weeknights 10 p.m. only here on ANC, the ABS-CBN News Channel.
The German embassy warns that further delays in resolving the NAIA Terminal 3 controversy may compromise the government's plans to seek investments from abroad. The palace and the Solicitor General say the government will retain ownership of NAIA-3 despite a new ruling on the transport hub in favor of German contractor Fraport AG. San Miguel is now studying a 20 billion peso plan to revamp the Manila North Harbor. And Goldman Sachs' plan to offer up to $1.5 billion worth of equity in web giant Facebook draws some serious scrutiny from regulators. Good evening, I'm Mike Yoreta. Let's get down to business. The German embassy wants our government to resolve the NAIA-3 impasse as soon as possible. German Ambassador Christian Ludwig Weber-Lorch says the government would be wise to do away with the ghosts of the past and resolve with finality the expropriation case of the NAIA Terminal 3. The ambassador says the government's confiscation of the airport and the loss of millions of dollars for German contractor Fraport, the original contractor of the transport hub, have frightened away potential investors from Germany and the EU. The ambassador also admitted that the case has soured relations between Germany and the Philippines. The issue was believed to be laid to rest last year after the International Chamber of Commerce in Singapore ruled in favor of the Philippines, dismissing complaints filed against it by Fraport's local partner, the Philippine International Air Terminals Company, or PIATCO. That decision reinforced an earlier ruling by the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes in Washington, saying PIATCO and Fraport violated anti-dummy laws, therefore forfeiting their claim to compensation for building the terminal. But last December 23rd, the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes in Washington overturned itself and reinstated Fraport in its right to seek compensation from the Philippine government. However, the Office of the Solicitor General believes that the decision neither strengthens Fraport's claim for compensation nor affects the government's ownership of the transport hub. Executive Secretary Jojo Ochoa agrees.
As far as we're concerned, as far as we see it as of today, that decision has no effect in the operations of NAIA-3. Hindi na, kasi meron tayong ang rules sa expropriation is once the government files its expropriation proceedings, entitled na siya to possession. Meron lang requirement na deposit of so much amount. So yun ang rules dyan. So yun yung ginawa before, even before our time. Kaya na-operate yung NAIA 3 partially.
Fraport is trying to collect $425 million from the government for the construction of the NAIA Terminal 3. The NAIA Terminal 3 controversy spans several years, starting from 1998 all the way to present day. Lala Rimando from ABS-CBN Online has been following the story from the very beginning. She wrote a chapter on the Piatco contract in Newsbreak's The 7 Deadly Sins, a compilation of costly and messy deals cut by the previous administration, which are now threatening the Aquino government. Lala joins us live in the studio to tell us more about this story. Good evening,
Hi.
Lala. Thanks for being here.
7 deadly deals.
Right.
Yes.
Just when we thought the legal issues of NAIA 3 had been laid to rest, it seems that we're back to square one. What does the new ruling dictate?
Nothing much. Essentially, what happened is that there was an annulment of a case. So essentially, it's like how marriage, an annulled marriage is. It's as if there's nothing happened, so you're back to square one. As
so
far
it allows
as it
Fraport to file a new arbitration case?
A new case, yes.
Okay.
But we have to remember, it took Fraport how many years since it first filed the case with Exceed in Washington. It filed the case in 2003. It was able to get not a favorable decision in 2007. It only was able to get a favorable decision today. So it's been, what, 7 years? Yes.
Okay. What of the legal victory under the International Court of Arbitration in Singapore? This is a separate compensation claim.
Yes. The Exceed case was filed, it was filed by Fraport, and it cited the bilateral agreement treaty between the Philippines and Germany. It's essentially saying its investment in the Philippines should be protected by that treaty. The one in Singapore was filed by the Filipino group, Piatco, and it's also a compensation claim. So essentially, the Philippine government has been battling 2 international arbitration cases just on NAIA 3.
So 2 separate compensation claims. So they can win one and lose the other, or lose both.
We already have a favorable decision from ICCS.
That's right.
Last year.
Okay. How much weight does the ICSID's ad hoc committee have?
How much weight? Because it's back to square one, it means that we don't have to pay anything. The Justice Department is correct. We don't have to pay anything unless they win. They file Fraport files another case and wins it.
Mm-hmm. Apart from this, though, there are other legal issues, structural, and could you tell us about that?
Okay. It's quite a messy deal, as the chapter in the book discusses. It has a well, as far as the legal issues are concerned, aside from the arbitration cases, we also have local cases here, corruption cases, anti-dummy cases, etc., etc. It was a landmark project supposed to be, an anti-corruption case that will allow the Philippine government to tell the world that, if you do something bad in a country like us, like the Philippines, you'll go to jail. So some of those cases are still pending. We also have an expropriation case wherein the government essentially told Piatco, that property is ours. But then the expropriation court said, before you can exercise rights of ownership to it, you have to pay just compensation first to the builders. You have a 98% finished building there. Someone paid for it. Someone spent to build it, so the government has to pay for it. So whether the Philippine government loses or wins the cases, it still has to pay Piatco and Fraport.
Mm-hmm. All in all, what does this say about PPP projects in the country?
Oh, funny, because when the PPP was launched, it was in a venue which was right across the NAIA 3, and people I've talked to who attended the PPP were saying, why don't they finish first?
Yeah. Okay.
Many issues of
the German embassy says that this is a huge setback for other potential investors. How would you say this has impacted foreign investors' sentiment to invest in the country?
It has been, well, we also have to take into consideration how the times have changed. In the past, really, when different emerging countries were going after the same investors, the Europeans didn't want to invest in NAIA, in the Philippines, because of the NAIA 3 experience. But because of what's happening to the global economy, investors are actually interested whether we had NAIA-3 or not.
All right. Well, it's kind of helped in that way.
Yes.
Whatever the case may be, the government still owes Piatco money. Any idea how much the government actually owes?
According to the expropriation case, we will have to determine how much the building is actually worth, because currently, if you notice, for a lot of passengers who have gone through NAIA-3, half of the terminal is not being used. We have essentially because there are safety and structural issues there. So the government and there's a court-appointed team which were asked to do a valuation work to really determine how much money really went into this building. And after that, we'll have to pay Piatco and Fraport.
How long do you think before all these issues can actually be resolved? I mean, what are the steps that need to be taken? The Aquino government says that by 2011, they expect this transport hub to be fully operational. Are you optimistic that that will even happen?
It depends on the deal the government now has with Takenaka, which built the entire building. NAIA-3, for the information of our audience, is supposed to be one of the most modern in Asia. If only it opened in time in 2002. In the back end, it's really high tech. It's just it's controlled by one system, where just like how modern airports are controlled. Nothing like what you see in NAIA-1 or NAIA-2 or somewhere else in the Philippines. And it's only if they're not able to have a contract or a negotiation with a successful negotiation with Takenaka, the December 2011 deadline might be missed. Yes.
Well, in other words, more work for the lawyers.
Yes,
and that's another story altogether.
And the financial people.
Okay.
There's a lot of people involved in NAIA-3.
Okay, you want to talk to us a bit about the legal fees involved in this?
Okay. In the book, I mentioned how because the agency that's now managing NAIA-3 is the Manila International Airport Authority, and it has been shouldering the costs, the legal costs, the legal fees, etc. Which amounts to around, well, based on the COA reports, it has amounted to around 1 billion pesos. But just for the annulment case that happened between 2008 and 2010, that already cost the government over 200 million pesos.
All right, that's definitely a lot of money.
It's just one court.
Before we go, Lala, would you like to plug your book?
Okay, this is the 7 Deadly Deals. This is a book. It's a book project of Newsbreak. It talks about 7 projects inherited, 7 projects inherited by the Aquino government. Chapter here is discusses NAIA-3. It also has it also discusses North Rail, MRT-3, also part of the PPP, MRT-3, SCTEX, Kedancor, etc. And many others.
All right, thank you for that, Lala.
Thank you.
Another issue facing the local aviation industry is the palace's push for open skies. We'll tell you all about that when Business Nightly returns. Please stay tuned.